We know the developer is hydrogen peroxide, but what is it? And what does it mean when we have 10 volume, 20 volume, 30 volume, 40 volume, 3, 6, 9, or 12%? What do those things mean? And how can we test to see if what's supposed to be in the bottle is actually in the bottle? And that's exactly what this is for. I'm going to show you two ways that we can measure the oxygen in our developers. Since this is mostly water, how do I tell the difference between this, which is mostly water, and some distilled water, which is all water? We can see how well things float in it. So regular H2O is going to have 0 volume because it has 0 extra oxygen, which means if I take this hydrometer here and we float that in there, right there, it's just at the top of that blue line that says 0%. There is no extra oxygen, or 0% extra oxygen in here. This is labeled as 3%. Or what many of us might know as 10 volume. So if I go to float this in here, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's right there at the line that says 10 or 10 volume. So this is confirmed 10 volume or 3%. But what about cream developers? They are obviously very different in density than liquid developers, and you can't measure them by floating a hydrometer in them. So what we need to do is release the oxygen and catch it somehow. So first, how do we release the oxygen? This is yeast, just normal yeast. There's something really special about the yeast that makes the hydrogen peroxide want to instantly give away all of its extra oxygen. So I'm going to show you real quick what happens. This is our 10 volume, same as here. Now I did add a little bit of soap to it as well, just to help illustrate and let you see the air that's being released. So I'm just going to take a small amount of this. Are you ready? Wait for it. So now that we know we can get this to give away all of its oxygen, how do we measure it? So this is called a fermentation tube. This is going to allow me to trap the extra oxygen and measure how much is being released. First thing we have to do is fill it up. Let all that air out. Look at that, it's almost kind of magical. It doesn't come out. It's still going. So now, if I put 1 cc of 10 volume in here, in theory, I should get 10 cc's of an air gap in there. Here we go. And in just a second, we should start to see our air gap growing. There it is. So it's foaming up. I don't know if you can see all those bubbles. That is all the oxygen being released from that teeny tiny amount of hydrogen peroxide. Still fizzing. So when I used the hydrometer, this tested as 10 volume. So if I've done this correctly, we should get this water line here, should get down to the 10 cc mark. I can still see those bubbles rising. They're starting to slow down a little bit. There we are, right at the 10 volume mark. So 1 cubic centimeter of 10 volume peroxide released 10 cubic centimeters of oxygen. Let's try 20. All right, so we're reset. So that seems like an awful lot of trouble to go to for liquid developer when I could just use a hydrometer. Remember, hydrometers don't work with cream developers. So will this work with my cream developers? This is my 20 volume, very thick. We may have to shake this up a little bit. Let's see what we can do, just to get it dissolved in there. So I see some oxygen being released. We already have our air bubble on top. So as that air is getting trapped, it's pushing the liquid down and it's gathering in this little bulb here. Thanks to this genius design, it's not overflowing like this little guy did. All right, this is bubbling a whole lot because of the conditioning agents in here, but our water line is like right there. Maybe a little bit hard to see, but it keeps on going down. So we're already past the 10 mark. We're at 15. I still see all kinds of air bubbles coming up, and we're really fast approaching that 20 volume mark. And there it is. So quick recap. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O with an extra oxygen atom stuck to the molecule. So now it's H2O2. It's maybe not super satisfied with that extra atom and it's trying to give it away. With all that extra oxygen in the water, it makes it less dense. So for liquid developers, we can test and see how much percentage of this bottle is H2O2 versus just plain water. And we saw by using the hydrometer that this was 3% H2O2, 97% water. Since we can't do that with Creme developers, so when we say volume for our developers, that means how much oxygen is stored, how much extra oxygen is stored in 1 cubic centimeter of that solution. 10 volume should register at 10 cc's, 20 volume at 20. Or if you're not real great at measuring, even more. It's just water with a little extra oxygen. I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you saw and you want to see some more, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. Feel free to share with any of your nerdy friends. Click the subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Let me know what else you want to hear about. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.